untap, upkeep, and welcome back to the channel if you've been here before. And if you haven't, then please sit back, relax, and enjoy our show for you today. So, on one of our previous videos, I asked our Discord, which, if you want the link, then stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll tell you how you can join that Discord. And hopefully, we'll see you there and you can join the discussions. The Discord allowed me to open up and go, hey, what are we trying to build? Is there anything somebody's having problems with? And shout out to my man Spoofy Cat in the Discord. He was saying, hey, here's a deck challenge for you. He gave me the Silencia challenge with the white-green tokens. And I built that. Absolutely crushed it. He loved it. He thought it was a really fun deck, I guess, and he's all giggles about it. At least that's what he says. Is it true? I don't know. Ask him yourself in the Discord. Then I issued another challenge going, okay, well, that was a fun build. What else can we do? And then, Lord behold, Spoofy Cat came through for us yet again and issued us another challenge. And he didn't give me any kind of budget restrictions again, so I decided to budget restrict it myself. And we're just gonna sit there and well, as I like to say, we're gonna burn the table to the ground. And how, you're gonna ask? Well, like this. With our man, the Black Walts, number 3. So for 2 and a red and a black, we get a legendary creature wizard with flying death touch is a 2/2 and says the following. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, he's going to deal 2 damage to each opponent. So we're going to be very, very spell heavy. We are a Rakdos spellslinger deck, if you will, but it does trigger on our artifacts as well. Non-artifact creatures, I should clarify. So you can kind of already see the direction we're going with this deck. So let me just take you into a deeper dive with it, shall we? We have Burnished Heart and the Sad Robot to help us get some mana. That's first and foremost. We need mana. We're going to need mana. Next up, we have the Karushkin Mage. I have no idea how to say this stupid otter wizard thing. But it's 2 mana, or you can play a total of 4 to make a token copy of it. That's just a 1/1. Says the same thing as our commander whenever you cast a non-creature spell, 1 damage to each opponent. Electrostatic Field, 2 mana, 0/4 defender. Whenever you cast a sorcery or instant spell, 1 damage to each opponent. Erebor Flamesmith, cast instant or sorcery, it deals, you guessed it, 1 damage to each opponent. Firebrand Archer, same thing as our commander. When you cast a non-creature spell, 1 damage to each opponent. Fire Spitter Whelp. Excuse me. Whenever you cast a non-creature or a dragon, which there's no other dragons, but, maybe you build it that way, 1 damage to each opponent. Gutter Snipe, instant or sorcery, we deal 2 damage to each opponent. So you can see I've stacked the deck with a lot of different ways to be able to just really ramp up the burn. We're not just relying on the commander doing 2 to everybody. We're relying on a very good synergy of these cards coming out and just dealing 5, 6, 7, 8 points of damage every time we cast something, and that's what we're trying to go for. We have Garland, Knight of Cornelia. This is a nice big dumb idiot, so to say. So for 2 mana, we get a 3/2 legendary human creature Knight. It says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Surveil. So if we start hitting a mana pocket, we can hopefully get rid of that land and not need it. Not let it bite us in the butt. But twice. 3 times. Hopefully we're able to get something out of this and we can just be like, okay, cool. We're going to keep on turning. And even if we have to discard him to one of the looting effects, like Faithless Looting or something like that, we'll see later on in the deck. We can always pay a buttload of mana to get him back from their graveyard, transform as a big, dumb, idiotic demon with flying, and whenever it dies, put it on the bottom of its own library. He's not really crucial to our game plan, but he just kind of helps us dig a little bit. Missident Elder, whenever it enters, make an 0/1 black wizard creature token with our commander's effect, except it deals 1 damage. Green Brawn, whenever it attacks, it does the same thing, makes that 0/1 black wizard creature token. Stormkiln Artist, I'm so happy to see this thing just reprinted into the ground. When it first came out, it was like a $5+ card. So I'm okay with it being just barely underneath the budget when it's non-foil like this. So it gets a +1/+0 for each artifact you control, and whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, make a treasure token. So we're hoping to just start storming out spells, making treasures, and just keep on turning through our deck. Thermo Alchemist, it deals a damage to each opponent as long as we tap it, and then whenever we cast instant or sorcery, untap it. So we're able to just keep the burn pain going. This is another fun one that you can actually build your own commander deck around, and he fits so good in here in the 99. You could almost interchange them, honestly. But I think the Torwalkie deck is a little bit more tailor-built to him, so I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you could if you really felt like having a secret commander for whatever reason. So Torwalkie is 5 mana, 3 a red and a black, for a legendary creature human archer. He's 3/3. He has reach and a lifelink, and that's very interesting because you're about to see why. So if another source you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1 to that permanent or player instead. This means our commander no longer does shock damage, he does lightning bolt damage. Lightning bolt to everybody. Lightning bolt everybody. Everybody gets a lightning bolt. You get a lightning bolt, you get a lightning bolt, and you are totally getting a lightning bolt. It also has, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, he deals 2 damage to any target. So he can kind of snipe some problematic creatures. He can help deal extra points of damage to a player's face. You also gain that life because he has lifelink. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Your brain just went, oh my Lanta, what is happening? And you're 100% right. This card does horrible damage to everybody. Have a pauper deck built around him. Yes, it's a pauper deck, meaning everything in the deck is a common, except for my commander, who is an uncommon. It helps kind of restrict him a little bit because, you know, without that restriction, I mean, this guy is just a house, in my opinion. I'm surprised I don't see a whole lot more Torwalkie decks, but I like Torwalkie. I think he's cool. Anyway, he you could give him Death Touch and he starts sniping creatures on the battlefield. You could be really sadistic like myself, give him Infect and just start infecting people out of nowhere. It is absolutely hilarious. But Torwalkie, very, very good card. Very, very good card. And finally, we wrap up with Young Pyromancer. So every time we make an instant or sorcery spell successfully cast, we're able to poop out a dude. So we're able to have some bodies. Our overall deck count as far as creatures are very, very low. We only have 15. So he's kind of an interesting piece in the deck to be able to help kind of protect us a little bit. Because we're not really the most interactive deck. We're just focused on making the table burn. Moving on to our sorceries, where this is our meat and potatoes. We have the Black Sun Zenith as one of our board wipes. So X, black, put X -1/-1 counters on each creature, shuffle it back into the deck. Circle of Power, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, make an 0/1 black wizard creature token. And wizards we control get +1/+0 and have lifelink until end of turn. That means we could actually potentially gain quite a big chunk of life if we played this probably late to mid game, or mid-late, or late. However, early on, it's probably not that great unless we're just trying to make the wizard token and draw some cards. But later in the game, I imagine this card could be quite the house, because that means our commander is going to gain us at least 2 to 6 life, depending on how many players are in the game at that point. For every spell we cast, I mean, we could potentially get right back in it as far as life point wise. Cornered by Black Mages, not that great of card. Target opponent sacks a creature of their choice. I don't really care about that effect. I care about the fact we can make another 0/1 Black Wizard creature token with our commander's ability. Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard 2, and we can flash it back. Eat the Swarm, blow up an artifact or enchantment. We'll lose that much life, but it's a worth noting cause. Flame Rift deals 4 to everybody, including us, but that's okay. We're just burning the table anyway. Read the Bones, scry 2, draw 2, lose 2. Pirate's Pillage, discard a card, draw 2, make 2 treasures. Night's Whisper, lose 2, draw 2. Uh, Mutinous Massacre is a new board wipe in Rakdos from the Edge of Eternity set, and I really think some people are sleeping on this card. Probably need to build it in a little bit better deck, but like overall to me, I think people are sleeping on it. So choose odd or even. Destroy each creature with a mana value of the chosen quality. Then gain control of all creatures until end of turn. Untap them, then gain haste until end of turn. 0 is also even. This means like you can force people to save their board or blow it up. Because think about it. You play this, you choose, I don't know, even, and there's a whole bunch of tokens, and the goblin player, or maybe not goblin player, um, any kind of X white player or X player or white X, white X, whatever you want to say, any kind of player that has white and or potentially green is going to go, no, I need my board. I'm going to protect it. Heroic intervention or flawless maneuver. And you're like, cool, stuff don't die, but I get everything. So either it dies or I kill you with your own stuff. Because it doesn't say you gain control of whatever's left. It just says you gain control of all creatures until end of turn. Untap them, they gain haste. So it doesn't even matter if you save your board. It's a lose-lose situation for you at that point. Either I'm going to get things off the battlefield that I really, really don't want to be there, or you save your battlefield by some kind of they can't be blown up kind of effect, and cool, great. Now I have your battlefield. What are you going to do about it now? So I really think this card's going to see a little bit more play, more in the casual settings to maybe a bracket 3-ish. I don't think it'll see much play past a bracket 3. There's obviously some way more impactful board wipes, but I think this one's going to be really, really interesting, and I'm wanting to try it. I also think, side note, it'd be really fun in Obosh the Piercer deck, or things have to be odd anyway, because it's an odd mana board wipe. Light up the stage. You can either pay the spectacle for 1 red, as long as somebody's been dealt damage this turn, and it's got to be your opponent, or you pay 2 and a red to cast it normally. So exile the top 2 cards of your library, and then until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Play is a very, very big key word here, because that means if you hit a couple of lands, you're able to make your land drops at the very least from this card versus what's in your hand, and that is very, very crucial, everybody. Very, very crucial. Don't misread cards. Take a minute, read the card, understand the card. If you don't, either look it up, ask a judge, or ask somebody who's been playing for a while, like myself. And somebody like myself is probably more than happy to explain how the card works, even if I'm not in that game. I also have a very bad habit of um, helping people in games when I really shouldn't, that are in my pod, because I just want everybody to learn how to play the game. I want you to be able to play your cards, play your game, and do it right. But next up, grab the prize. Discard a card, draw 2. If it was a um, non-land card that we discarded, it deals damage to each opponent. So a little bit of a side piece, if you will, right there. We like that. Risky Shortcut, new one from Aether Drift. Draw 2, and then each player is going to lose 2. That hurts us 2, but that's okay. It goes right along with our pain train here. See the spoils, discard a card, draw 2, make a treasure. Sign in Blood. Target player draws 2 and loses 2. You can kill a player with this because it doesn't target you. It targets anybody you wish. It can be you, but it doesn't have to be you. I have done this. I have purposely done this. I got super lucky way back when I first started playing Commander. Somebody was at 2 life. I had this. I had no other really good way to deal the final blow. It was typical, your back's against the wall kind of thing. It was magical Christmas land. I drew this and was like, you draw 2, and they're like, oh, cool, more cards, and you lose 2. And they only had 2 life, 1 life, something like that. And they were like, wait, what? It is hilarious if you ever get to do it, everybody. Like, I hope you get to do it at once in your Magic the Gathering career, so to say, because it is just so funny. Sorcerer's Scheme is another one from Final Fantasy that I really think is really good in this deck. So for 4 mana, you can return target instant or sorcery card, or card exiled with flashback you own to your hand. You add a red mana, and you can flash it back for 5. This is kind of like a poor man's version of Past in Flames, and I think it works just fine in this deck. In fact, you could probably run this and Past in Flames if you were going no budget, just to be that guy. I think this is a neat little combination right here personally. So strike it rich, pay a red, make a treasure, pay 3, flash it back. You could Sorcerer Scheme, get this back into your hand, get the red mana immediately, use it, make another treasure. So you could potentially deal what? 2, 4, 6, 8 points of damage with just 2 cards and enough mana. Not bad. And that's just with the commander out. That's not including all the other stuff we have in here. Suplex, 3 mana. I really like this card as far as versatility. I wish it was at instant speed, but I'll take it at sorcerer speed. 3 damage to target creature. If it would die, exile it. And then exile target artifact. So if there's an artifact causing us a problem, we can get it out of here. Rens Resolve, exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Again, play those cards. Very crucial, very important to read your cards and understand how they work. If it said cast and it was 2 lands, they're gone forever. You might as well hit them into the exile zone. You're not being able to get those. But because it says play, if you hit 2 lands and let's say you haven't made your land drop for the turn you cast this, you're able to make your land drop for the turn on that. And then the next turn, it doesn't matter what you draw, it doesn't matter if you have lands in hand, play your land from exile and keep your mana up. Keep your mana moving the way that we need it to. It's very important, everybody. Read your cards. Ask questions if you don't understand and learn how the cards interact. This is very good in this deck. And then finally we have Siphon Mine. So everybody that's an opponent is going to discard a card, and we draw a card from each card discarded this way. So in your typical commander pod, you'll probably draw 2 or 3 cards, depending if it's a 3 or 4 person pod. If you're really wild and insane like myself, and you're like, I want a gigantic pod to just do a battle royale, I don't care if it takes forever. It could be a 6 to 8 person pod, and you could draw 7 cards from this thing. It is insane. It is so insane. I wish they'd print more of it. I need more copies of this card. It's so cheap. It's easy. It's lost. You're over the time, and I think people need to rediscover and understand just how good this card actually is, especially in this kind of setup. Instant package. We have a braid, 3 damage to a creature or destroy an artifact. Devil, blow up an artifact, creature, or a planeswalker. Big score, discard a card, draw 2, make 2 treasures. Chaos Warp, potentially get rid of a problematic permanent. Could flip into something worse. Most of the time I've seen this flip, it's usually a land. I did have one game where a friend of mine, his name is Lee, he used this on one of the dragons I had on my battlefield, and he just gave me an ancient silver dragon actually, and I just put it into the deck, and I was like shuffling the deck, and I was like, man, how funny would it be if I flipped over to ancient silver, and as soon as I said it and flipped over the top card, there was ancient silver, and we were all just like, oh no, and I was like, yeah, it was great, it was hilarious. But generally, Chaos Warp flips over to a land most of the time, or a non-land permanent that just goes, well, that's gonna sit there. I know what I'm drawing next turn. Dark Ritual allows us to potentially get our commander out turn 2, and if he lives, we're probably off to the races. Late game, it's a nice way to just get a little bit of bump in mana. Deadly Dispute, second artifact or a creature, draw 2, make a treasure. This could come in handy if our commander has been enchanted with like Dark Sea Mutation, for instance. It's an 0/1 bug that's indestructible and loses all its abilities. There's a number of cards in just about every color scheme, I think. I don't think there's one in red yet. I might be mistaken. But I know that green, white, and now blue all have a way to make your commander potentially be something else. And this is a nice way to be like, well, there we go. Sack our commander because he's completely pointless to us when he has no abilities. And draw 2, make a treasure, play him again. So I really like the versatility that Deadly Dispute provides. Throw the possibility, discard, draw 2. Rakdos Charm is a nice way to nuke the world for any kind of token player because of the versatility this card has. So you can choose one of the following. Exile target player's graveyard. So your reanimator deck just neutered you. We could blow up an artifact that's causing us a problem, which I don't see a whole lot that could be causing us a problem artifact-wise. Or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. So your goblin players or elf players, whatever, you can hold this until blockers are declared and go, okay, before damage, bam. Here's a ridiculous amount of damage, and it could be enough to straight up kill them, and it is. It is so funny. I've yet to do it. I want to do it so bad because I think it would be funny. But I like it because it does a lot of versatility. Overkill, target creature gets -0, -9,999 to a turn. It literally is just overkill. Nice instant speed way to deal with problematic things like anything that's indestructible. This is just a nice way to just get rid of it. Especially on a budget. Infernal Grasp, blow up a creature to lose 2. Go for the throat, hits a non-artifact creature, blows it up. Demand answers, you can either sack an artifact or discard a card to draw 2 cards and instant speed. Transpose is another one from the new Final Fantasy set that I think is really neat in this deck. So you get to draw a card, discard a card, lose a life. And if it was cast from your hand, you make an 0/1 Black Wizard with, you guessed it, our commander's abilities. And it has rebound, so then at the beginning of our upkeep, this is going to be cast again, so we get to draw another card, discard another card, lose another life, but we won't make another wizard because it's not being cast from our hand. So that's okay, though. And then finally, Unexpected Windfall. Yeah, I know, it's a little bit above my dollar budget restriction. Don't get too mad at me. It's just, it has to be in this deck. It is so crucial the way that I built this deck to have something like this. So you get to discard a card, draw 2 cards, and make a 2 treasure token. That's it for our meat and potatoes as far as like our sorcery instance package. We're running a whopping 34 of them. So we should always be able to trigger our commander once you get up and going. Artifact package is kind of what you would expect. Arcane Signet, Mind Stone, Wayfarer's Bauble, Prismatic Lens, Rakdos Signet, Charcoal Diamond, Commander's Sphere, Velware Stone, Fire Diamond, a Thought Vessel. Yes, it's a little bit of a budget, but it's getting a lot of reprints, so it should come down. Swiftest to the boots. This version might just be expensive because it's the Final Fantasy printing. Let's find out, shall we? Wow, you're really gonna say that's the cheapest? That went up, not down. What's wrong? What is going on here? I don't actually. It's about the same. But wow. Why is Swiftfoot boots so bloody expensive? This card has never been. I mean, there's one for $1.22. That's a little bit cheaper. Anyway, wait, hold on. Okay, I give up. I don't know why it's saying it's $1.22 and then it's $1.40 over here. That makes no sense to me. Boxfield, use broken. Anyway, Swiftest to the boots protects our commander. Soul Ring. These 2 cards are always like $1 plus, and I don't know why. Especially Swiftfoot boots. It just got this massive printing, not only in the commander decks, because it's almost always in a commander deck, but for God's sakes, it was reprinted in the ground for foundations. How is this card still $1? Oh my gosh! The only oddball artifact, I guess you could say, for this deck, as far as like what you're not going to see in typical other decks, though, Black Mage's Rod. When an ETBs, make a 1/1 hero and equip this to it. We really just like the fact that it gives it a +1/+0 and has our commander's ability. So we like the fact that it allows us to turn like we can either stack the abilities, like we get like a double effect of it, or we can put it on something that doesn't already have that ability and just really start turning through some damage. That's pretty much it. Our mana base is going to be typical. Founder's Enclave, probably not that great. I probably should take it out for like another basic or something, I guess. Because we don't really have anything that's powerful or greater. I'll leave it in because it might become a thing. I don't know. But Canyon Slaw, Man Tower, Dragon Skull Summit, Evolving Wilds, Exotic Orchard, Smoldering Marsh, Path of Ancestry. Not that necessary in the deck as far as the scribe mechanic, but it is essentially a, quote, dual land. Mirrored Landscape allows us to ramp in a way for Rakdos. A whole bunch of Mountanas, full boarding ruins. Field of Ruins, because I always have to have a way to blow up problematic lands. At least one. It's a 1 in 99, but hey, we have at least one. You never know. Sulphur Springs, a whole bunch of swampy swamps, a Temple of Malus, and a Terramorphic Expanse. So we're running quite a bit of land in this deck because I want to make sure we're able to hit our land drops. We are in Rakdos, so making our land drops is way more on the difficult scale versus easy scale. So yeah, I was like, cool, let's keep our land count up a little bit. This is closer to how like Rachel Weeks on the fan zone, for instance, says. She starts out about 38, so does Josh Lee Kwai and several others. Me, I find that I like having a little bit more ways to either get lands out of the deck or rocks or even dorks, because I have had way too many games where it's like, cool, I'm in a commanding position, all I need is this, and I'm hitting 2, 3, 4, 5 land drops in a row, and then you lose the game. So I typically like my decks around a 34 to 36 mana base, but you can up it if you feel it needs to be upped. You can cut a couple if you feel it needs to be coupled, kind of just to your feel and your playing style. For me, this is a little high, even though it's technically like 1 over what I normally do at the max. So kind of build at your own pace. Our tokens are pretty simple. We only got 5 to worry about, so nothing too extravagant there. Our mana base is really low. We have a bunch of spells at the 2 mana slot, so a whopping total of 32 spells at the 2 mana slot. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't. Our ratio is pretty decent, mostly red, because of course we're red. Burn, roar, fire! This actually doesn't look like too bad a hand. We need black. And there's our black. So yeah, we could have kept that and probably done some damage. This is looking at some sample hands here. Just keep in mind, this is not like a powerhouse kind of deck. As you can see, we're able to get some stuff. We're able to kind of start doing some weird things here and there. But this is a god-awful hand. No land and a soul ring. But man, if you were brave enough to keep it, you might have paid off from it. Good night. But yeah, this has been the Black Waltz number 3 budget commander deck build. Well, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you built this deck in person, let me know. And let me know what changes you made if you were to just unleash this deck. What swaps did you make for what cards? And how many of them are you going to swap out? Don't include the mana base. Mana base is mana base. We all know mana base can be fixed. What instant sorceries or non-creature spells, or even creatures, would you rebuild in this deck if you were to go completely no budget, just ramp it up to its power? I know how I would do it. And that's why I put the budget restriction, because anybody can do it on a no budget build, but how well can the deck function on a budget restriction is how I wanted to approach this. So that's why it is the way that it is. But let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested to hear and see what everybody has to say about it. So kind of, help me out here. Show me some love, and let me know if there's a deck you're trying to build or there's something wacky off the wall that you want to try and get up off the ground. I love building wacky decks such as this. This is a really janky Rakdos stormy build. It's the budget restriction again is probably what holds it far back from what it really could potentially be. And I think it has enough synergy that you're able to do okay. Maybe you have to build it around more rocks to just keep ramping. But I really, really think you need to find a way to keep your hand full because that's going to be your number one problem with this deck. It's the same problem as any burn deck throughout history. Burn, 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 burn. We do 10, 20, 30 points of damage and we're out of cards in hand. We didn't kill everybody. Next turn, land, go. Next turn, land, go. Next turn, land, do something. 2 damage to everybody. Okay, land, 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 dead. So that's why I went with a very, 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 very heavy, like, cantrippy feel, if you will. So we're constantly trying to draw cards, keep our hands full, and just start slamming out damage. Maybe you need a little bit more no max hand size kind of thing to it. I don't know. So I'm very curious to know. What do you guys think? Is this something that has a lot of potential, or is it just a dud? Let me know in the comments below. And as always with all my deck videos, the link for this deck will be in the description below, and I'll even include a link to the Discord. Join me, talk, join the people. They're good people in there. We're all very chill, and if somebody's not, we'll take care of it. To my viewers, I know there's a lot more of you that are checking out my channel. Please give me the like, give me the subscribe. You help me out so much. We're already up to almost 100 subscribers. From me to all of you, thank you so much. I could not do it without you. And I'm hoping to help keep this channel growing. And I look forward to seeing where this goes. But let me know, what are your thoughts? I've been the Buddha Dragon. Don't forget, rub that belly for meta. And may all your games be filled with magic. Until the next time, peace out.